Welcome to GoldBoys Live, presented by Pickett Sports Sleeper Picks. We got Brian, Josh, a lot to do. NFL reactions, awards, divisions, the usual Monday Night Football, college basketball starts tonight, NBA. Josh, Brian, boys, I guess I'll just start. Brian, your biggest takeaway from yesterday was what?
Honestly, I've been saying it every week. As the Eagles guy, they've looked so bad, but they're winning the close games and they're 8-1. So I think it's one of those things where I as much as I like to hate my own teams, it is very fun. I don't want to say fun, but it's the team's winning when they have to, which is big. I think there's something to be said about that. You see a team like the Chiefs, even though they won down the stretch, they refuse to run the football. Like I think some of the teams try to get too cute with coaching. I think the Eagles' ability to run and just hold on to the lead, even if it gets gross, is fun to watch this year.
Yeah, I'll go Chiefs though and say for betting purposes, Mahomes under 3 points favorite, still take him. It's still a very good record, and it's like crazy the situation where when he's a favorite of too many points, feel great about fading him, and when he's not, then feel great about and the defense too, right? This is something that you start to rely on with Kansas City, and then you go, damn, like if the offense even gets, I mean, Rashee Rice getting better is huge for them when Kelsey's a little bit more absent or double and triple teamed and all that. So yeah, I would be scared of them. I think them and the Eagles, they're trending in the right direction. And then you move forward with the 49ers off this week. You're like, they're a bit more of a question mark, and they're sort of the team in waiting. I guess you can say Dallas is for real, but they seem just more for real when they're playing against the Eagles than anybody else.
Who's that,
Can
the
I change
Cowboys?
mine?
Yeah.
I just think they look.
Can I change my reaction and say that
Yeah,
give me
what's
the
your
Vikings
reaction?
in the playoffs?
Hey, they got a little
Plus
they got a little
130 still.
good
I
vibe
this
for
sounds like
'em.
an
Boy,
overreaction, but give me Josh Dobbs. I love
my
Josh Dobbs.
boy.
I'll put a ticket in just to root for him.
Yeah, that's not
There's
it's not
always
crazy.
Josh
That's a
Dobbs.
terrible loss if you're the Falcons. You're up 4 late. I mean, the kid hasn't been in the
And the
team for
Bucks lose
10
again.
minutes.
It's a Vikings spot to lose now. Like solely, they're 5-4. I mean, it's
Yeah, I
their
mean the
spot.
Saints. Okay, so what? We're gonna give the Saints the division. Yeah, if the Saints get the division, then it's Vikings Falcons head to head. The Vikings would have beaten them.
Really, the Vikings' path to the playoffs is just to beat the Saints or just not lose their spot currently. Like they
yeah,
can
just
either
get
they
to
can like
9. Get to
it's a
9. But
lot harder to go down. I mean up than down. I mean down than up for them. It's a lot harder
yes,
for them to slide than I think it is for them to leapfrog.
yep. I mean, it's still you figure there's some drop off from Cousins to Dobbs, but hey, who knows?
I don't think so. Josh Dobbs might be the best quarterback in the league.
It's possible. It's
Dude, it's such a
possible.
cupcake schedule for them. We talked about that too. Like the rest for the Vikes the rest of the way. I mean, the
Right.
next one you got, I mean, yeah, the Saints is great, but then you got obviously the Broncos and the Bears, Raiders, whatever Aiden O'Connell will see. The Giants are terrible. Bengals will probably be a loss, and the Lions will probably be a loss, even though it's at home. So we'll see. But yeah, there's a world,
You
man.
could split with the Lions too. It's not
They could, yeah.
impossible. At Cincy's probably a loss. Home for
Yeah.
the Packers. You split with the Lions, and they're probably going to get to 9 and probably get in. I would think.
Yeah.
I would think.
Wow.
I mean, one takeaway from me, Stroud, unless he's hurt, unless he gets hurt, he's going to win the Rookie of the Year. You're basically betting against an injury last night. From now on, that was an impressive performance yesterday. Back to Dallas. Dallas just looks. People like to use the word curse. I don't think it's cursed. There is some bad luck. Like there were 3 fumbles, they didn't get any of them, but they seem disorganized. They're just always disorganized. They're not buttoned up. And even when they got down to the 6, I think it was 1st and 10 from like the 11. Philly jumps off sides and they don't take the free play. You got a free play, throw it in the end zone. You get a touchdown.
Yeah,
you get a
no, they just like almost spiked the ball. Like they just didn't.
Oh yeah, they didn't do anything with it. Yep, they just took the 5 yards and got out of there.
What was the stat I saw yesterday that I think I could be? I don't have the exact number in front of me, but they showed it on Fox. It's just saying that I think Hurts is number 1 and Dak is number like 30th or so of that, and like in pass, is it passer rating in clutch situations or whatever. So I mean, there's something to be said about that. I said about these close games being won. When it comes down to it, you're at like 3-4 point games on the stretch. I mean, one team is winning the games, one team just isn't.
Yep. No, that's true. Do you guys buy? Is Miami a contender? Because Miami, Buffalo, I don't know what to do with
Is it
these
7
teams.
straight of above 500 they lost?
Miami
I think it is,
just
right?
can't seem to. And they almost got back into it. I think there was a guy over the middle, but look, Kansas City led that game from start to finish. I don't know where you guys at with Kansas, with Buffalo, Miami, or like these legitimate Super Bowl contenders. Or
I'm over Buffalo. Every year I try to root for Buffalo. I don't know what it is. Every year I try to root for them. Like, sometimes you don't have to like necessarily believe in a team, but there's certain teams or guys you root for. And every year I've tried to get behind Buffalo, and then you watch them play in those games. Like what's their deal? Like I don't understand it. Like it's the same thing as the Chiefs yesterday. Sometimes teams that just refuse or can't run the football just look gross because
they're
of
D
the
shot now
passing
too. I mean, it's death by 1,000
Yeah.
cuts. They're missing half their defense.
That's my main thing with Buffalo that we can hang our head on this season is like, because like every year I'm like, yeah, I don't believe in Buffalo because I got to see it first, but also they get close every time, and it does feel like there's ability for them to break through, right? Like after like getting their licks, paying their dues, making it to championship games. There's a easy way to see them breaking that ceiling, getting to the Super Bowl. But now you've got all these injuries on the defensive side of the ball that make them a legitimately less formidable team than they've been. So you can't really rely on like a really good pass rush to really like be there when your offense is clicking. And then that's been their MO, right? They get ahead, and that's why they don't care about running. And then the defense is good enough to get in the pass rush to like stop what you need to do when you need to pass. They're not there with that anymore. They can't do that. And yeah, they won't even run the ball once, Ken Dorsey, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, well, that's what I was saying yesterday. Like not to harp on it too much, but I was watching that Chiefs game. I was like, dude, they're going to give Miami the game by they had these 3 and outs that took 6 seconds off the clock. I'm like, dude, you have a guy running like 8 yards of carry, and you're just not using it. You have to realize there's two parts of the game. So
yeah,
it's very interesting. No, yes, I was gonna say I really want there to be some kind of an avenue where the Chargers have to play the Bills in the playoffs just to see what team loses first, because they're both gonna try so hard to lose a close game. That'd be kind of funny to see who would prevail.
This sounds crazy right now, but Dallas at plus 500 to win the division. Again, I have Philly at plus money from before the season. So I like, do I want to hedge here? I had a little Dallas yesterday. It's not as a mini hedge. I like them plus the points. Philly's next 4 games are tough. I know they've gotten through the hard part of the schedule. They beat Dallas, they beat Miami, but now some of the road games come in. They get at Kansas City, Buffalo, at Dallas, the 49ers. Meanwhile, the Cowboys cruise for the next 3 or 4 games. Washington, the Giants, and they're 15.5 point favorites against the Giants. Jones is out for the year. He tore his ACL. We just learned that. I don't know.
At that point, though, you're almost betting on the Cowboys going 8-1 the rest of the way, and the Eagles losing 3 or 4 of the next 5. That's it. I feel like that's the avenue is just tight. It's a really tight window.
I think you're betting maybe Philly loses 2 or 3 out of the next 4. Let's just say they split the next 4, and then Dallas wins the next 3, and then you're back at like not an even price, but where you can arb it. That I think would be the approach. And I don't think it's a bad one, honestly. I really don't.
I think it's gonna be a matter of, it's just super common to say, but this bye week is so needed for the Eagles team. I mean, Jalen Hurts is walking on half a leg.
Yep.
Dallas Goedert just broke his arm, which is a huge loss for that offense. Like,
dude, they kept the camera on it for so long, and it was like,
what was up with they did the same thing with was it KJ Osborne? They got knocked knocked out. Like Red Zone kept showing it. Like I'm all for seeing what happened, but yeah, it's the same thing. Like they just kept showing it. I'm like, dude, I can see the arm break.
He's a little soft. He should have played through it. Divisions. Anything jump out to you guys? Miami minus 175, Buffalo plus 220. Dare I say the Jets at 7-1 can win tonight and be a half game out, which is just hard to even fathom.
You daren't say
I guess I dared. I think they got down to like 20-30-1, just something insane. But hey, they're right there.
Nobody wants to win. If I had any faith in this Bills team, 2-1 sounds so good, but then again, you trust the Bills.
Yeah, plus 220 at FanDuel. They do have a win in pocket against Miami. Again, they're all beat up on defense. I don't hate plus 220.
The AFC North might be the best division in football right now. They're winning games.
Because since Cincy is back, Tone Stamp, our lovely producer, has been on this, man. He said, hey, even at 2-2, they always start slow. Burrow will be fine. And I was skeptical Burrow would just get healthy in time, and they've kept their head above water. Now they look great again. Since he's plus 320 to win the division. Now Baltimore's done well in these division games, so they got a little step up. I don't know. Since he plus 320 worth a sprinkle. Browns are 5-1. Pitt is even 10-1, and they're 5-3. Although I don't think they're winning it. Jacksonville's a minus 400 favorite. Kansas City's a minus 900 favorite. We mentioned Philly, Detroit minus 800. I don't see them losing that division. Saints minus 150. Anything jump out to you guys?
With the NFC North, AFC
anything you want to talk about? I know we love to talk about our favorite NFC South, which is just the dog shit.
No. I know. I'm trying so hard to stay away from being like, yo, how hard did the Saints try to just lose to the Bears?
That's another one. I think they were plus 5 in turnovers and didn't cover, which is hard to do. I know they missed a field goal late, but Saints are only minus 150 to win the division. All those teams stink. Tampa gave the game away late. Atlanta gagged the game up. Man, and then you have Carolina.
I'll tell you one thing. If you're a betting person on props, just start betting Taysom Hill rushing yards. The last 3 weeks, he's been so involved in that offense. It's been really fun to watch.
He has. So since
it's fun to watch if you have stock in it. If you have like Kamara on your fantasy team, you're probably like, this is the stupidest offense ever. But if you're smart and you can kind of see the volume he's getting, it's been a fun. It's been getting 15.5 each week.
it's hard to determine if he's going to play where he's going to play on the field because he even caught a touchdown, but like he's obviously worth it in fantasy. I was going to really quickly, not too much time, but Will, did you do any Matt DeVito next drive punt bets or anything like that?
No, I was on my way home from somewhere, so I did get under. I don't want to pass post, but I got the under the team total, which got a little sweaty because he got a touchdown and then they had the ball a few times. Like, if I lose to this motherfucker, I'm gonna
would you have like 11.5 on the team?
I think it was 10.5. I might have gotten one of them at 9.5. It was yeah, it was basically.
I was watching it live, and I would say that one of the books I was on was super slow because I took like right as Daniel Jones' knee went down, I hit Raiders plus -7.5, -13.5, -18.5. I just kept playing it. I was like, you guys are slow as hell. Like the Giants would get a first down and it would go down to like -11.5.
I kind of regret not taking the Raiders at all because I feel like we said it on the show. Was it Thursday? I think I guess what was it? But I think we all said it that when the Raiders are favored, it's a matter of a lot of these times when you go hell bent in firing everybody. A lot of times, like those teams, people
they get a little reaction.
they're going to be in turmoil, but a lot of times they're free and they just
Antonio
go out there and ball.
Yeah, everybody's gone. Like Josh McDaniels, if you saw, they had like a team meeting that he called to have a vent sesh, and people laid into him.
Strange stories.
Then he gets fired. And
you left out the part where Antonio Pierce tried to comment by like defending the coaches. And he goes, for example, like when I played for the Giants, we beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl and they were undefeated. Nobody thought we did, but we believed, and you guys need to believe. And then I guess McDaniels pulled him aside and goes, don't ever talk about the Patriots like that. It's like, what a strange story. I think that was kind of the last straw. Very strange. I mean,
he's a maniac.
Yeah.
It was all good though. Like the vibes couldn't have been higher with him out the door. I wasn't on that. I was on the other way. I was like, you also fired your coordinators. You have new everything.
Yeah.
But it's like then as soon as Daniel Jones goes down, there's no quarterback, so it doesn't matter. I thought him coming back was at least like, okay, he can be competent enough, and totally wrong.
Is Jones done as a starter in the NFL?
He's not coming back next season, right? Like he won't be ready for next season. So
I would think halfway through the season, so maybe he comes back, but they'll probably draft somebody, and then like you got an athetic quarterback coming off a torn ACL, like
$40 million coach.
He'll probably start like maybe he goes as a backup somewhere and gets fill in, but I don't think anybody's like, all right, Daniel Jones is our quarterback going forward. It's just crazy how that happened so quickly. And man,
he's playing Gabbert.
Didn't they just give him the contract? Tone says yes, but they can get out of it after 2 years. Exactly. So
after next year.
Yeah, so now he's middle of the way through next year when he comes back from his ACL. Then it's like, all right, are they winning another game? So they're going to have 2 wins. They're in the mix here for one of these top 2-3 picks.
Where are they signing?
They could draft somebody though.
They have DeVito. They have the best quarterback in the league.
What do you mean? Who are they signing? Like
for this year, the rest of this year.
I don't think they'll bother. I don't know.
I was going to say
Matt DeVito.
What's the? I mean, I don't think. Is his name even Matt? I think isn't it Tommy?
I don't know.
Tommy.
We've been calling him Danny. Who the hell cares?
But what's the point of who are you going to sign and what's the point?
Yeah, but Danny DeVito makes sense. That's a funny joke.
It's like a show like, isn't his name Tommy? Who the fuck cares?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to win 2 games. Like, what you're going to bring Colt McCoy in to be respectable? I guess they could. I mean, it's not going to change.
You're not going to. You can't. Like, you gotta. Like, I understand what you're saying, but like, you gotta.
What for the sake of competitiveness?
You need to have an NFL quarterback out there. He's not going to win. If Colt McCoy's going to win as many games as Anthony DeVito, but like, whatever.
I don't know if Colt McCoy going to sign up to get his head beat in by that offensive line. He's made plenty of money. He's older in his career.
Who needs a shout? When's Brett Ripien getting cut?
Exactly. I mean,
I'll say this:
they probably bring in a body, but I don't know. It's going to be, what it's going to be like a couple years ago. Remember when Jake Fromm played the second half of the year and they basically couldn't get the ball past midfield? That's basically what it's going to be like.
To kind of close the loop here, as we don't focus too much, I just want to say this: I'm getting a good cash out on my preseason bets we talked about. 30-1 on the Giants on the worst record. I took the Giants record 30-1, and I took them to finish 4th in the East at like 750 to 1 or 850 to 1. I forget what it was. And the cash outs are pretty good. Cash outs are pretty good on those.
That's good.
They're probably not going to get below Arizona or Carolina, but hey, if you stay at 2, if Murray's coming back,
maybe you can sneak in with a dead heat. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, you might get a dead heat. You really might, because they're probably not winning.
I'll say this: if I didn't also have the division thing, I might cash out. But the division thing looks so good, which will pay for the other thing, like, and then get profit. So as long as I finish last in the division, I don't care.
That's what I'm saying. That I wish we had harped on that bet way more, dude. Because like the Commanders weren't going to be as bad as the Giants to me. Like there was almost no world. So like. Man, that's a great freaking bet, dude.
Yeah, I put half a unit on it. I wish have this. It's easy to say now, but it's
under 650 rushing yards for Daniel Jones was a really good one too.
Worst record plus 330. for the Giants.
Yeah, it's a lot better now than 30-1.
If you watch Clayton Tune,
I would appreciate a tip. If you cash that out, I would appreciate a tip, something small, because I led you to that one and I didn't bet
give
it.
him just the tip, Brian.
Motherfucker.
We might have spent at least we started that, and then what you read through the 5 prices or whatever it was, and I it would be like 18-1. So we'll see if I end up cashing out. Like I said,
our logic was dead on. Like, hey, they're due for aggression. It seems not that much talent there. Jones could get hurt. Like, all of that stuff is played out. Like, literally all of it. Just quickly before we get to tonight's game, anything MVP? Lamar is now the favorite. I'll pull these up. And any other awards you guys are thinking? Mahomes is plus 240 at FanDuel.
Yeah, I don't get that
number.
I love 320. I'm all for Patrick Mahomes, but it's crazy that he's a favorite no matter what his stats are at the point in the season.
Yeah, I think I forget it was this show or another show where like, hey, maybe if there's a bet here, it's Burrow 20-1. I didn't bet it. I hated all the odds. He's down to 9-1 at FanDuel, 7-1 at DraftKings. That's probably the best bet. Do you guys see anything else you like? Hurts plus 320, Lamar 5-1, Tua plus 650, Allen 14-1.
At this point in the season, guys that are higher down there, like Josh Allen, Trevor Lawrence, and whatnot, what would they have to do to leapfrog some of these other guys? It would have to be the craziest turn, like to leapfrog the 3 people you just mentioned, like the top 5 of Burrow, Tua, Lamar, Hurts.
You get hot, you get the 1 seed. You have a couple good national primetime games. Like Allen's in some trouble because he's had a couple of clunkers on primetime against the Jets, and then last night. Tone says, I don't think Burrow can win it because the first quarter of the season. I disagree. I think he gets a pass. Yeah. Hey, he's not healthy. The team didn't. It almost makes him more valuable. Hey, when he wasn't healthy, this team couldn't win any games. Then when he's healthy, they're a machine. He almost proves his value more. He hasn't won it before. He's popular. Like so if I'm making a bet, I'm almost tempted to take Burrow at 9-1 here.
So what's Lamar at?
5-1.
Yeah. So like I don't know. Feels like those are easily the 2 best bets.
Yeah.
Right now, and like the world where they're both fighting for the division at the end of the season means you don't necessarily have to win the division, or maybe the division winner gets it. And it's
I don't know if a wild card guy could get it. I don't know if a wild card guy could get it.
So then it's whoever wins. When's their last game? They don't play at the end of the season. They just have one more in a few weeks.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's interesting. And then you got to worry about Lamar staying healthy too. Like Lamar, it's been a few years since he's made it through a full season. So keep that in mind.
Jared Goff, 40-1.
It's not dead, but I don't think he's going to win. Yeah. I still think it's pretty wide open.
All right, tonight's game. Boat race by the Ravens.
Yeah, he did. What's that? 2 or 3 weeks ago?
But then they beat the Raiders, and the Raiders just put up 30. So
All right, tonight Chargers laying 3.5, total 40. I don't know what you guys have on this game. We'll get to the props and stuff. To me, I don't know who the hell the Chargers are to be laying 3.5 on the road to any halfway decent team. I don't trust them. I have a theory that their uniforms are so cool and that Herbert looks so good throwing the ball that they just get overvalued because they pass the eye test. We're all, I don't know, what's the word? Aesthetically driven, where we see something and we like it based on looks. You always say you can't judge a book by its cover, but we all kind of judge a book by its cover. To me, the Chargers, and again, watch them go out and win by 29. I wouldn't be surprised, but to me, just laying 3.5 on the road against a good Jets defense. I like the Jets here. I don't understand this line. I think it'd be like more like 1 or 2. The hook is so key. Again, it's Herbert against Zach Wilson, so I get the quarterback disparity, but you get the better defense. So I don't know. What do you guys? Where are you at with this Jets Chargers game?
I mean, you just kind of nailed the head too. I mean, the Chargers, for what they are, they're a 3-4 football team. Like, I get that they're supposed to be good. Like I think the other thing too is I feel like every year people like to think it's the same with betting. You can't think about, oh, I would think this. You have to think what they would think. You can't be like, oh, I think they should use this guy more, so I'm going to bet this prop. It's like the team should be great. Yeah, they have all this talent, but they just haven't been good. Like they just haven't been like a solid team. So their only hope here is if they can get into a shootout where the Jets just can't compete. But their offense has been so up and down, so I don't know if I trust them either.
In most situations, the Chargers are a stay away team for me. Like, unless like there was a great spot against the Raiders at home, wonderful, but like nothing else. Honestly, they could have given up that game if Jimmy Garoppolo could throw the ball 30 yards down the field. Devontae Adams was wide open twice. So like I don't trust the Chargers at all. Did you put him in any teases, Will, or are you just taking him 3.5 straight up?
I took the 3.5.
Yeah,
I'm 3.5. You guys aren't taking the Jets. It's not fun. It doesn't feel great. Like, oh, Jets over the Chargers. I just think from a number standpoint, I don't know. Tone, do you like anything in this game? Tone hasn't been involved here.
Honestly, not really.
I'm not talking you guys into the Jets. I'm alone here.
Solid contribution, Tone.
I would say this:
Sorry,
I'm actually having a good NFL week. If I was having a more so week and I wanted more action, I would take it. But I don't know if I can get into this game, and like I don't know if I don't have a good feel of either side. I would lean Jets with the 3 if you can find it. But yeah, I just don't like as much as I don't trust the Chargers. I don't know if I trust the Jets either. So I don't know.
One of the comments in the chat said all 3 of you guys are pussies. Will's the only one with balls. Then we deleted the comment so nobody can see it. That was inappropriate. I don't appreciate you guys saying that.
I have bets in this game that aren't on the
Will
side.
planted his wife in the chat again.
One of those things where
I don't think people should leave comments like that. It's not a nice comment to leave.
Yeah,
you're right, but I don't agree with that. It's just not nice.
All right, you want gun to my head? I'll take the Chargers.
Oh, come on! You're gonna lay the 3.5 of these losers. They stink.
I agree. I agree. I think, but both these teams, I just don't like.
You can get a 3 at Bet Rivers at -115. Thanks to Pick a Sports Tone. So you can
it's down to 3. That's interesting. Good. I was about to go hit up their kiosk after the show and take. It popped up to 4 in some spots. I was like, man, this is crazy to me. Let's play this game.
Bet Rivers has this is weird. They have 3.5 for the Jets at -117, and then they have 3 for the Chargers at -115.
They have strange lines. That's why
there's the hold there is very little. I'm surprised they have 2 lines that close together.
Sometimes their hold is egregious. Sometimes their hold is great. It's strange.
It's really strange.
I'll say it this way: like home field is worth what, 1.5. So if you swing home field here, the line is going to be 6.5. If this game was in the chart, like at the Chargers, does that make sense to you? The Chargers are 6.5 points better than the Jets. Again, if you put these teams on neutral, we're talking 5.5, 6 points. It just doesn't make sense to me. Jets are okay. Like they're not a great team, but that building. Here's the thing: Jets fans, they're enthused now because they got a defense, they got a team they're behind, they're in the mix for the playoffs. So it's going to be a loud crowd tonight. I don't know.
You're right, dude. I'm just realizing this is Mark Sanchez all over again.
A little bit. Now it's harder to win that way, I guess, in the NFL. And I don't know that Wilson's as good as Sanchez, but you know what I think it's lost too. And we'll get the first touchdown odds here. Garrett Wilson's just a monster player. It doesn't matter who you put at quarterback. You could put any of us at quarterback. Like he's going to go for 100 yards no matter what. He is so good, and he's kind of flying under the radar because he has had no quarterback play. But I don't know. I just think from a numbers
I'll say this: the only thing scaring me from backing the Jets is that for them to win this game, I mean, they've only scored, I think, is it 23 offensive points the last 2 weeks or something like that?
It's like all off turnovers and
if they have to win this game, you have to just trust that the offense can stay out and bleed out our clock. So if anything, maybe the under. If you think that the Jets can just because their only way to beat the Chargers offense is just to make sure they're not on the field. That's really what it would be.
Primetime unders have obviously been really good. We'll get to our favorite bet here. First touchdown scorer. Eckler plus 450, Breece Hall 6-1, Keenan Allen plus 750, Garrett Wilson plus 850, Quentin Johnson, who might have a bigger role. I think Palmer out 14-1, Everett 16-1, Parham Jr. 17-1, Allen Lizard 18-1, Herbert 20-1, Kelly 22-1, Dalvin Cook, remember him 25-1, Zach Wilson 25-1. I don't know. Anybody else you want, just let me know. And anything jump out to you. No touchdown score at 60-1. If you really want to get crazy, I would need another 0.
I feel like this is a game that you gotta get someone weird. Like this is like a Tyler Conklin 28-1 type of game.
Whoa.
That's what I'm thinking for this kind of game. I feel like it's gonna be someone that's gonna piss a lot of people off. Like everyone's gonna have these Eckler -115 to score first props, and it's gonna be setting like Tyler Conklin.
What does Jason says? Plus me a lot of checkdowns. They'll probably get the ball. So what does he like? He likes over receiving for
receiving yards. Yeah,
okay.
That's my bit. That's actually the biggest bet I have of the week is Breece Hall over 17.5 receiving yards. I love it. I think books are not factoring how much Breece Hall is playing now. The last 2 weeks he's seeing so many snaps. And I feel like he's still getting lines as if he's playing like 40% when he did the first few weeks.
So what did you say? You said Conklin 28-1 is your favorite bet?
Yeah, it feels like a weird game. I feel like it's gonna be a game that's gonna piss a lot of people off.
I don't love any of these odds. What do you got, Josh? You had a $100 free bet on this. What would you take?
Yeah, no, I like the Breece Hall stuff. Honestly, I get that. I do think there's checkdowns in Zach Wilson's future, to be honest. So and like I get the weirdness of what you're saying with Conklin. I could also see. I believe the Chargers are pretty bad against wide receivers. Like if Garrett Wilson
stink on defense.
Yeah, if Garrett Wilson breaks a slant.
Some of these guys I never fucking heard of it. Elijah Dotson or Irvin Charles, Nick Bawden. What? Isaiah Spiller's 50-1. Michael Carter's 35-1. Uzoma's 35-1.
Or maybe this is a Justin Herbert 25-1.
Oh, where are you seeing? I'm seeing 20-1 on him. Yeah, I mean that's not terrible. He runs a little bit.
MGM 25-1. Yeah.
I guess that would be a decent one. Herbert 25-1. I don't know. Big quarterback, you get a little sneak. It's not terrible. It's not great either. It's not terrible.
Get a little sneak.
I'm only going to bet any of these if I have a free bet. I don't really. I stopped putting real money on.
I agree. I agree completely.
Yeah. No, I also am sort of copping out because there's a massive NBA slate tonight. And on the week, I literally am up like 0.2 units in the NFL. And I'm like, I'm fucking out of this week on the NFL. So I kind of checked out, to be honest with you. I didn't want to tell you that at the top. And then just put some stuff on the NBA tonight. Because there's a huge slate because there's no basketball tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah.
Go out and vote in your local.
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever.
Because of Erection Day. That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, Erection Day.
And,
that's what they call it.
So many levels.
What's that, Josh?
I cannot count the amount of levels that was offensive on. Continue, please.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Well, get up and vote, guys.
Get up and vote.
What are we even voting for tomorrow?
Local stuff.
Local stuff. Oh, God. Okay. No, I'll be first in line. Spurs plus 285. I got a little boost. They screwed me yesterday, though. I had the Spurs on a boost to like plus 380 on the money line. I checked the score twice. Once they were up like 30. The second score they lost by 7 in overtime. You motherfuckers.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you like tonight in NBA?
That's a crazy game tonight with the Pacers. It's like a 238.5 total or something.
It is 238.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough. I mean, I Spurs on a back-to-back. It's gonna be interesting to see how Pop.
I don't think they care. They're so freaking young.
Yeah, but Pop's always been weird in back-to-backs, I feel like. And then again, he's also had some weird talent in the past.
So I have some like gross bets that like I don't know how many people are gonna want to tail, but like I'm feeling kind of like gross. So my side for the night, let's see if it's still at 7.5. Maybe it went up. The Detroit Pistons, they're at home. They're hosting the Golden State Warriors. If you have any desire to be a sicko, go ahead and bet on the Detroit Pistons, or you can still get it 7.5 on BetMGM if you have an account there. They are 7 on like the bigger books, but
you're taking the points.
I am. Yep. So Detroit won twice last season in the 2 meetings versus this team. Do with that what you will. The one at home was without Steph. Whatever. On the road, we all know what the Warriors are. They're on the Warriors are on the end of their road trip. Like they're old. They're at the end of the road trip. All their guys played yesterday on a Sunday where they lost to the Cavs. They were in this exact situation last year against the Pistons in Detroit with everybody. Lost that game in Detroit. With Cade Cunningham and squad doing them up. So like I think they have confidence against them. I think it's too many points for this old squad on the road, and that's my favorite side for the night. And then I got 3 props that are also under. I'm going under Sabonis 7.5 assists. I'm going under 32.5 points, rebounds, and assists for Şengün. That's the same game as the Rockets and Kings are playing. And I'm going under 4.5 assists for Zion Williamson against the Denver Nuggets.
Rockets and Kings are playing. That totals 218.5.
Yep.
I don't think we've ever used the word lock. That game's an over. So they're going to go over 218.
It seems like it, right? But here's the thing. Without Fox, the Kings, since last season, they played 11 games. Their pace goes from 101 to 96. Since Fox has been out this season, they went from the 3rd fastest team to the 2nd slowest team in the 2 games they played without him. One of them
they don't have a guard. They don't have a guard to bring the ball.
They don't have a point guard. One of them was against the Rockets 2 nights ago, where they went 107-89 that they lost that game.
Who's their backup? Is it still Mike Bibby?
Yeah, it's Bibby and then Jay Will White Chocolate coming off the bench after him.
Yeah.
But no, it's mostly going to be Davion Mitchell, who is an awesome defender and not a good shooter or offensive player. And then when Malik Monk gets in there, it's only like 25 minutes a game for Monk and maybe 30, but he would be the more equivalent to keep the pace going, and he's not even out there. So
very interesting.
Yeah, be careful there. That's why the unders are play for me tonight. And then the like super duper terrifying, somehow the Pistons cover 8 points against the Warriors.
Okay. What any big takeaways from the NBA? Obviously Wembanyama with just a dominant performance. Thursday. We didn't talk about it Friday. You guys just bailed on the show, left me here by myself all lonely. Dude, he was awesome. I took him 100 to 1 MVP. I made a nice little donation. They're not offering me a cash out. It got cut in half, but I just want a fun one to root for where it's like, you know what the hell? He's good for, he's good for the league. And we talked about it last week where there's so much load management and these teams don't really take the season seriously. It's like Wembanyama is a good story to root for. He's fun to watch. He's going to be awesome. I don't know. Anything else you guys have just in general here?
No.
I mean, you mean overall takeaways? Or
anything that just jumped out of you through 2 weeks here. I'm surprised this team's that good. I'm surprised this team's that bad.
The Grizzlies cannot basketball? Is that a good?
No, that's a good one.
Is that a good one? I mean, I thought that they would eventually figure it out because I'm more surprised. I mean, 0-6 is one thing. They can't figure it out defensively. They have two of what you would regard maybe as a top 5 defenders in the league with Smart and Jaren Jackson. And you watch their sets; they are so disorganized on their defensive end. One thing on offense is like, okay, maybe they're struggling to find their shot, but they're playing god awful on the defensive end, which is surprising the hell out of me because you'd think with 2 out of the 5 players out there being Smart and Jaren Jackson, you would just automatically have a half decent defense, and their rotations are awful.
Yeah. If you want the takeaway in the form of a bet, the Celtics are fucking unreal in the regular season. I think they're really going to give a shit in the regular season. I was a little bit worried about them being a not try hard team, but they're wiping the floor with teams. I think this is a pretty good test tonight against the T-Wolves, but I hit them at plus 250 and I hit them at plus 200 to have the most regular season wins. They're at plus 135 still. I think if you get them at plus money, you keep taking it. Part of this is like, good God, they're unreal good on offense. The second part is the West has beat the crap out of each other. The West is clearly so much better than the East, like we thought they were. They're going to continue to be that way. The Nuggets, good start. You know they're going to have a streak at some point in the season where they're not winning as many games. Don't worry about the Suns, and that would be the only real comp that I would see for them in this one.
I think your concern is, hey, it's a long season. Tatum misses 15 games somewhere. Then it's like, oh, it's not as good as bet. But hey, at plus money, can't
I think at plus money, I would keep hitting it, and then once it's below it, I'm good.
Yeah, Milwaukee has not played well defensively, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, is it Dame? Is it the coach?
Did you see that there was a stat that came out that was just like it was like a comparison of him and Dillon Brooks or whatever? It was like, and Dillon Brooks is like slightly better and everything. It was kind of funny. It was kind of funny to see. It was kind of funny to see a Dame Dillon Brooks comparison on like one of those NBA meme pages.
They're starving for content. I think the thing with Milwaukee is, the best play on them was under 55.5, under 56.5 wins. I'm sure it's down, a bit now to about 54. Is that what we got? Yeah. So, I still think an under is good there because it's going to take them a little while to figure it out. I don't know if they figure out by the postseason, which they absolutely could. Great. Don't love that fact that they have that rookie head coach to help them figure it out. I don't know if Giannis remembers how to play sort of somewhat second fiddle. So I don't know. I don't like the fit, but they're not good right now.
All right, let's bounce on this. Anything for in-season tournament, in-season MVP? Is there somebody out there? Because I think a lot of people, if I'm a little confused and I follow this stuff pretty closely, I think a lot of people are confused. Is there a diamond in the rough here? Like, hey, this guy at 50 to 1 could actually win it. Zion 45 to 1. I don't know. Just throwing names out there. Is there anything I'm putting you on the spot here, but either of you guys have any takeaways in-season tournament MVP? And is any of this bettable? If not, we can just revisit tomorrow and like.
Yeah, I guess my thing is I follow the NBA and I watch more NBA than healthy. It's my favorite sport to follow. And even I'm so lost on this in-season tournament. Like I understand exactly what it is, how it works.
Convoluted.
Like, do we really think that the players going to be out there like on a regular season Thursday night game being like, oh shit, like I need to play an extra few minutes because this matters in some mythological something? Like I don't know. Like, I don't know if the motivation's there as much as people I think it is for the players, because I don't know if I see that happening down the stretch unless maybe it's like the championship game that is a standalone. But
I don't have big units on it. I have one bet already, and then I'm gonna start putting a few on it. The one bet I had at the beginning of the season was Celtics, which is the same bet as it is now, plus 750 for them to win it all. There was just a couple of things I looked at with another dude that looks at the NBA really closely, where it was like the matchups and the path that they have is actually they're clearly better than the teams that they'd face all the way up to the finals, whatever. And then the other thing is like I think the MVP is going to be dependent upon the teams in the semis and then the finals in Vegas. That's it. That's really what it's going to be. No one's going to be like, well, in the 5 games they played in the regular season that were dubbed in-season tournament games, this dude dropped 28. Like, I don't think people are going to care about that. I think they're going to care about the games in the pocket of tournaments they play over a 2 or 3 day span in Vegas, in which case, who are the try-hard teams and who's the best player on that team? And that's why I go Shea at 60 to 1 as the MVP for this thing. I could not believe how far down he was as we were starting to talk about it. I was like, okay, all the logic I'm using is the Thunder, although they have a somewhat difficult path to get there, like if they're trying correctly in the you know what I mean, during the regular season a little bit, which they are, then yeah, they'll be good. They lost that game the other night without Shai to the Cubs, but it was a great game, like you said. So
yeah, should have won that game.
Where are these on DraftKings? I always have to like.
You just gotta scroll. It's a lot of scrolling. It's awards. It's towards the end. I will say if the Celtics do win the in-season tournament, they will get roasted on Twitter.
Okay, it's separate. It's a separate thing. Okay, all right, yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I actually might take that with you, Josh, because SGA is 60-1 on DraftKings. He's 18-1 on FanDuel.
Oh wow, that's wonderful.
That's weird.
That's a good number. So 60
That's
to
gonna
1.
change. It does.
That's a good
Yeah,
one.
I'm gonna take that now. I mean, I don't care.
Yeah, me
Shit.
too.
Like, I was gonna say, what's
All right,
Booker
we'll end the show, guys.
and like Kevin Durant and Booker are like in that 20-1 range. I feel like those are two teams like they got this 30-1 on Booker. That's who I would go with if I had to. Give me the team that usually fares a little bit well in the regular season. They make it all the way there. We all know Booker can put up 40 if he wants to.
Yeah. All right, boys.
Damn, I'm taking 30-1 and 60-1. That's funny because on FanDuel these odds are like less than half what DraftKings is offering.
Yeah. All right, boys. Fun as always. Be back noon Eastern tomorrow. So see you then. Thank you to Pickett. Thank you to Sleeper, Brian, Josh, Tone. Enjoy Monday night. Go Jets. See you guys tomorrow.